أين وصلنا؟ حد فاكر؟
مستر احنا امبارح كنا
ايوه يا
تقريبا
مستر، هنبدأ في الاسيدز والبيزز والحاجات دي.
الله عليك يا حبيب والديك، يا سلام يا سلام. فين بقى الكتاب طيب بتاعنا؟ أهو الكتاب أهو. شايفين الكتاب؟
لا. ايوه.
العيال دي جامدة أوي. العيال دي جامدة أوي. طيب احنا ليسون 1 خلصناه، وفالنسي اخدناه، وتايبز اوف بوندز كل اخدناه، كيميكال رياكشن ده لسه.
مستر احنا كده خلصنا ليسون 1.
انا بدور اهو بشوف فاضل لنا ايه، انا حاسس ان احنا كده خلصنا. مش كده؟ استنى بس نقعد نمسك بعض. ايه ده؟ بعدين هنتكلم. ماشي. يا شباب احنا كده خلصنا الليسون ده اعتقد يعني. مش اخر حاجه
مستر
خدناها.
والاسيدز والحاجات دي فين؟
ما انا بدور اهو يا يحيى، ما الكتاب قدامك اهو، وانا لا اله الا الله. ايوه هي يبقى احنا لسه خلصنا.
اطلع شويه كمان.
تايبز اوف كومباوندز. طيب تعالى نشرح الاسيدز والحاجات دي اللي بيقول عليها يحيى. يحيى مسميها الاسيدز والحاجات دي. بص يا دكتور.
بس دي شرحناها حضرتك.
لا لسه يوسف. لما شرحناها يا ولا استنى بس هفهمك. هو انا يعني ما انا عايز اتعب يعني، ما انا لو شرحتها اقول انا شرحتها خلاص. احنا شرحناها لما كنا بناخد الكيميكال فورمولا. شرحنا الاسيدز ازاي نكتب الفورمولا بتاعت الاسيدز. لا انا دلوقتي هتكلم عن الاسيد از كومباوند، يعني هتكلم عليها ككومباوند يعني. تعالوا بس نفهم مع بعض بالراحه كده وان شاء الله خير يعني. اول حاجه احنا عندنا حاجه اسمها element. ما بيكتبش ليه؟ عندنا حاجه اسمها element وعندنا حاجه اسمها compound. قبل ما نبدا لازم تكون عارف الفرق بين الاثنين. برضه الاو مش بتكتب. ثانيه واحده. compound برضه الاو مش عايزه تكتب. compound غريبه الاو باظت يا جماعه. كتبت الحمد لله. compound. يبقى عندنا element وعندنا compound. حد يعرف what is the difference between element and compound? Can you tell me if you know the difference between element and compound?
I know.
You know the difference, Yahya?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me what is the difference. In a few words, you can.
The element is made from only one atom.
Only one atom or only one type of atom? It's different.
No, one type of atom.
One type of atom.
Only one type of atom, but
yes.
it might be more than one atom. But the compound consists of
more than
one different type of atom.
That's right. That's right. We can summarize the words that Yahya tell us in a few words. We can say that element is formed of similar atoms, which means if we have two atoms, they are similar. But compound is formed of more than one different atom. So we can say that element is formed of similar atoms. Okay. But compound different atoms. Okay, we have two examples of element and another example of compound. The example of element, as you know, is O2. O2. We have O2, this is an element. Why this is an element? Because it is formed of two oxygen atoms. They are similar atoms, O and O. We have also H2. H2 is formed of two similar atoms, H and H. And we have also Cl2, F2, Br2. All of these are elements because they formed of two similar atoms, O and O, H and H, Cl and Cl, and so on. But here we have in compound, we have 2 or more different atoms. For example, like NaCl. This is a compound. It's a sodium chloride. We have sodium atom and we have chlorine atom. So we have 2 different atoms. These 2 different atoms form a compound. Also, the compound can be formed from more than 1 different atom, like copper sulfate, for example. We have copper sulfate, SO4. This is copper sulfate. The copper sulfate is a compound because it's formed of more than 1 different atom. Like what? Like copper, this is an atom of copper. Like sulfur, this is another atom. And we have 4 oxygen atoms. So if we speak about copper sulfate, it is formed of 6 atoms. One of them is copper, another one is sulfur, and we have 4 oxygen atoms. So they are different atoms, as Yahya said. We have more than 1 different atom. So copper sulfate is a compound. As we studied before in grade 4, as you studied before in grade 4, you have studied that element is divided into metal and non-metal. Any element may be metal, may be non-metal, and you have studied the properties of the metals and also studied the properties of non-metal. But now we will speak about the compound. The compound is divided into 4 types. Compound is divided into 4 types. Number 1, acids. Acids is the first type of compounds, first category. The second one is base. The third one is oxide. The last one is salts. So compound is divided into 4 categories. But elements is divided into 2 categories. Element divided into metal and non-metal. But compound is divided into acids, bases, base, oxides, salts. Now we will speak first about the acid. What is acid? And we want to know examples of acid and also want to know the economic importance of acid. Some uses, which means some uses of acid. Let us speak first about acids. Now we have acids. Do you know examples of acids in our daily life? Anyone know? Anyone can give me examples of acid from our daily life? Like what, Yahya?
I know.
Give me example.
Lemons.
Lemon juice.
Lemon and orange.
Yes, that's right. Lemon juice is an acid. Orange juice is an acid also. So we deal with acids in our daily life. We have 2 examples, as Yahya said. We have the examples of lemon juice, it's an acid. We have another example of orange juice, it's an acid also. Okay, can you tell me some properties of lemon juice? What about taste? What is the taste of lemon juice?
They have a sour taste.
Okay, that's right. It's a sour taste. First acid has sour taste.
And they change the color of blue litmus paper into red.
That's right. It's another properties of acid. Acid changes the color of blue litmus paper into red. Look at me. Acid, red. Do you notice acid? Do you note acid? Acid, it ends with D, the letter D. Also, red ends with the letter D. So we have acid, red. So if you put a litmus paper in a beaker of acid, it will change into red color. Red color. So we can say that acid changes the blue color of litmus paper into red. I want you to take care of this acid and this red. This is an acid in our daily life. It has a subtest. It changes the blue color of litmus paper into red. But what about acid in science? What is the definition of acids in science? In science, we have a scientist called Arrhenius. Arrhenius put a definition of an acid. It's an early definition. This definition passed by several stages. Nowadays, it's not the certified definitions for the scientists and for our study. But we can say that this definition is from history, but it's some part correct. Okay, what is acid in Arrhenius' definition, or what is acid in our study today? Acid is a substance, of course, but we have two conditions or two criteria to consider this substance as an acid. First one, acid should be dissolved in water. Okay, the first one, acid is a substance that dissolves in water. And this substance should produce a positive hydrogen ion when dissolved in water. So if you have an acid like this is an acid HCl. It's called hydrochloric acid. Now we will dissolve this hydrochloric acid in water. Is it dissolved or not? Hydrochloric acid, do you think it dissolves in water or not?
Dissolve.
It dissolves. Why? Because it is an acid. And we have just to say that acid dissolves in water. So we have HCl is an acid and it dissolves in water. When HCl, which is called hydrochloric acid, dissolves in water, it gives us positive hydrogen ion plus negative chlorine or chloride ion, negative chloride ion. So you can say that acids dissociate in water. Dissociate means it breaking down from the middle like this. Look, you can break it down from the middle. So it dissociates into positive hydrogen ion and the negative chloride ion. We can say this is an acid. Why? Because it dissolves in water, forming a positive hydrogen ion. This is an acid definition. If I asked you what about the definition of the acid, you will say that it dissolves in water, forming a positive hydrogen ion. So we can write like this. Acid is a substance that dissolves in water, forming positive hydrogen ion. Okay, acid is a substance that dissolves in water, forming a positive hydrogen ion. Now, I want you to write down this definition in your notebook 2 times. Then you take a picture and send it on our group. You have 30 seconds to do this. First, write the definition of acid 2 times, then take a picture, okay? Then send it in our group. Okay, let's start. Go. Acid is a substance dissolved in water, forming a positive hydrogen ion. Okay, we have one. We have one that's sending. Who is this? Acid is a substance dissolved in water, forming a positive hydrogen ion. That's right, Yusuf Muhammad Fathi. That's right, Yusuf, but I asked you to write 2 times. I see that you write it 1 time. I want you to write it 2 times. Yusuf Muhammad Fathi, write another one. Muhammad Usama, acid is a substance that dissolves in water, forming positive hydrogen ion. That's right, Muhammad Usama. Yahya Ala, acid is a substance that dissolves in water, forming a positive hydrogen atom. Positive hydrogen ion, Yahya, not atom. Okay, Yahya, correct it, Yahya, in your notebook. Positive hydrogen ion. Ion carry a positive charge, but atom is a neutral, which means is that the number of protons equal the number of electrons. We have in our definition positive hydrogen ion. It's ion, not atom. There is a difference between atom and ion. Okay, Yusuf Abdul Muhimi. Acid is a substance. Yusuf, you make the same mistake of Yahya. It's hydrogen ion. Yusuf Abdul Muhaymin. It's hydrogen ion, not hydrogen atom. Hydrogen atom is the wrong one. If you write in the exam hydrogen atom, it is considered a mistake, and you have some decrease in your marks. Okay. Haytham, good. Haytham, hydrogen
مستر
atom.
على فكرة
Yeah.
مستر
Okay, yes. I hear you.
مستر على فكرة يوسف عبد المهيمن عمل كوبي بيست وغشها.
Okay. Yahya Ala, that's right, Yahya Ion. Okay, can you give me some examples of acid? We have more than 1 examples in our study. When we studied the chemical formula, we have
أيوة مستر sulfuric acid, nitric acid,
okay, Yahya. Okay,
hydrochloric acid, hydrobromic acid.
Hydrochloric acid, 1 by 1, Yahya. Hydrochloric acid. The second?
Hydrobromic acid.
Hydrobromic acid, HBr. Can you tell me another one?
Sulfuric acid.
Sulfuric acid, H2S. Okay, Yusuf, go ahead, Yusuf. Yusuf Muhammad Fathi.
Nitric acid.
Nitric acid.
Nitric acid. Okay, that's right. Nitric acid, HNO3. We have also orthophosphoric acid, H3PO4. I want you to note something. We have a note. We have something here. In this chemical formula: HCl, H2O4, HBr, HNO3, H3PO4. Do you note anything?
Just the beginning of them is H.
That's right, Yusuf. Excellent, Yusuf. Each formula of acid starts with H. Here we have HCl, which means it starts with H. Here we have also H2SO4, HBr, HNO3, H3PO4. That's right, Yusuf. Excellent. So we have to say something. Now be carefully. The chemical formula of acid, I mean organic acid, should start or must start with H. The chemical formula of acid should start with H. And when acid dissolves in water, it produces this H in the form of ion, positive hydrogen ion. This is the first category of compound. Now we have the second one, which is bases. Right. Also, bases like acid is a substance dissolves in water, same, but it doesn't produce positive hydrogen ion like acid. It produces negative hydroxyl ion. So we have 2 points in the definition of acid. The first, it is a substance, okay, dissolves dissolves in water, forming or producing whatever, forming positive or negative? That's wrong, not positive.
Negative.
Negative. That's right, negative. Hydroxide, and you maybe say hydroxyl. All of them is correct. All of them are correct. You can say hydroxide, and you can say also hydroxyl. Okay? This is the right one, and it's also a right one. A substance dissolves in water, forming a negative hydroxide ion, not atom. The negative one, so it doesn't atom. It is an ion. Okay, this is a definition of base. A substance dissolves in water, forming a negative hydroxide ion. I want you to give me some examples of bases, if you know. Do you know some examples of bases?
Sodium oxide, ammonium
Sodium
oxide,
what?
carbon dioxide.
Sodium hydroxide. Okay.
Sodium oxide.
Maybe sodium oxide, it's also a base, but we have a very important one, sodium hydroxide. I want you to put OH in the formula. Okay. Sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide. Okay. What about this?
Calcium.
Calcium. Excellent.
Hydroxide.
Calcium hydroxide. Hydroxide 2. Calcium hydroxide. So I note that we have OH at the end of the base. Sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide. So we have in the definition a substance dissolves in water forming a negative hydroxide ion. This is the negative hydroxide ion. This is also the negative hydroxide ion. And this is also the negative hydroxide or hydroxide ion. This is a definition of the base. What about oxide? We have studied before the oxides in grade 6. We have studied the oxides. What is the definition of oxide? Anyone know?
An element joins with oxygen production.
Okay, repeat again, Yusuf. I can't hear you. Yusuf. Yusuf, can you tell me the definition once again?
An element joins with oxygen.
That's right. When an element combine or join oxygen, we call it oxide, which means that, excellent Yusuf, which means that element plus oxygen give us oxide. That's right, Yusuf. Excellent. We have element plus oxygen give us oxide. That's right. But this element may be metal and maybe non-metal. This element may be metal and maybe non-metal. Non-metal. If it is a metal, then the oxide will be metal oxide. And it is considered as a base, basic oxide. Like what? Like MgO. MgO is an oxide of metal. So it is a basic oxide. It is considered as base. It dissolves in water, okay, and forming a solution which contains OH, negative hydroxide ion. So we have a metal oxide like MgO and FeO and CuO. All of these are examples of metal oxide. Metal oxide means a metal combined with oxygen, and it gives us a metal oxide. This metal oxide is considered as a basic oxide, which means is that it dissolves in water, forming a solution containing negative hydroxyl ion. Also, maybe this element is a non-metal. If it is a non-metal, then it gives us a non-metal oxide, which is considered as an acidic oxide, like CO2. Acidic oxides means they dissolve in water forming acid. Also, it means that it changes the color of blue litmus paper into red, since it is acidic. So we have two types of oxide. Oxide of metal, which is called basic oxide, and we have another one, oxide of non-metal, which is called acidic oxide. This is the oxide. The last one, here we have salts, but there is not enough time. Okay, so we will learn this in the next period. Till we meet again, I wish you have a nice time. Thank you very much. حتى نلتقي مرة أخرى. لكم مني أرق المنى وأطيب التحايا. أشكركم على حسن الاستماع والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته، لأننا لا نملك المزيد من الوقت.